All rise.
This is deeper than money. Talk to me. I want viewers watching my show to believe in themselves.
Judge Hatchett is compelling.
If he is not going to honor you, he needs to be gone.
Compassionate.
I don't want you to give up on your dreams. I don't. And I want to figure out how we get this straight.
She's powerful.
If I were in this situation, I would have put you out too.
And she's on the bench.
I feel like I'm being judged here.
That's what I do.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Jackson Williams is suing Bryce Tigman in the amount of $3,152. Mr. Williams claims his cheek split when his frat brother backhanded him over a bar tab and says Mr. Tigman needs to cover his medical bill. The defendant is countersuing for $332.
Good day. All right, we've got you suing the defendant, and the defendant has a counterclaim against you. And I understand that there was a situation that just really got out of hand. Is that pretty much what happens? But I want to know how all of this, the background. First of all, do you all know each other? Did you know each other before that evening?
Yes, Your Honor. Myself and the defendant were both in a fraternity at University of Arizona, having just graduated this past year.
Great. Well, congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But something happened so that you are both in my courtroom suing each other. So tell me about the situation.
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Jackson Williams, the plaintiff in this case, suing my former fraternity brother and friend, Bryce Tigman, for personal
Now, when you
injury.
say former fraternity brother, I thought once you are fraternity brothers, that's for life. Am I to misunderstand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what he's really saying is you're saying you're a fraternity brother and former friend.
That is correct, Your Honor.
So you're just trying to ditch him as your fraternity brother and your friend, sounds like to me.
Well, in my opinion, Your Honor, brothers don't strike each other.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so talk to me. What's going on with you all?
Well, Your Honor, after having recently graduated...
All right. We just learned that Jackson and Bryce were fraternity brothers. So, is it really a fraternity bond if you're suing each other over a bar tab and a backhanded slap? And here's the kicker. Jackson's now calling Bryce his former friend. Big words, right? But do friendships really last when there's money and alcohol involved? Who do you think is in the wrong here? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Our group of friends decided to go out to celebrate our friend Jeremy's birthday at the Wildcat Club.
Wildcat Club? That's interesting. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. I am typically more of an introvert and don't like to go out too much, but this time I decided I would go out for our friend Jeremy and thought that now that I have a job, something of which I had not had through college, I decided I would cover the bar tab for my friends.
Oh, now this is interesting. So you're a big baller that night. You're going to cover the bar tab.
Within reason, Your Honor.
All right. Well, that's not what you said. You said I'm going to cover the bar tab.
And then he didn't cover the bar tab, Your Honor.
Okay, and so is that the countersuit?
That is the countersuit, yes. He promised he would pay for the bar tab. He paid for half the bar tab. I had a waitress coming after me for 15 minutes begging and pleading me to pay the other half, so I paid the other half, and he won't pay me the $332 that he owes me.
So that's what the $332 is about, the bar tab.
That's what
Well, let's start at the beginning. Okay, you all at the Wildcat, something?
Wildcat, Your Honor.
Wildcat. It is Jeremy's birthday. You have now gotten this job, so you're like, okay, I'm just gonna pick up the bar tab. Did you say you were gonna pick up the bar tab, period? Or did you say, now listen, everybody gets one round of drinks and I'm gonna pick it up? There's a big difference.
Your Honor, I said that I would pay for people's drinks. However,
there's always a however.
Yes,
What
Your
happened?
Honor. In this particular instance, I was not expecting an extra $400 to be added to the tab on top of the $300 already there. Ordered when I was not present and without asking me first, when they knew that I was paying for it and that I was recently having a new job.
Your Honor, I would actually like to bring forward some evidence. I have a text conversation between myself and the plaintiff. He said, "Hey, bud, looking forward to Jeremy's party. Listen, now that I'm working, I'd like to get everyone drinks. You helped me out during school and just want to pay it forward."
Oh, let me see that. Yeah, but I tell you, you know, if you're gonna be a baller, you gotta have some kind of understanding about what that means. All right, so now I understand what the countersuit is. You're saying that you then had to pick up the remainder of the bar tab that night.
Yes, ma'am.
But there's a more serious situation here because you are suing the defendant for some $3,500 because you said in your complaint that you were injured. So now, set the scene for me. You all are at this club, right? You say, I'm pretty much an introvert, but I'm out because I really want to celebrate with my fraternity brothers. I'm gonna pick up the bar tab, and what happened?
Well, Your Honor, upon finding the bill and seeing that there was this exorbitant charge, I then put $300 down from my own credit card on the bill and said that the remainder should be paid by the defendant.
Why? Now, why? There were other people there. Why specifically the defendant? I want to be able to follow this.
Because the defendant ordered the bottle service.
Did you order the bottle service?
Yes, Your Honor, I did order the bottle service. However, it was in front of him.
Wait, so Jackson's a big baller for the night, but when the bill hits, he's like, I didn't sign up for this. No one warned him that the tab would reach the moon. I can't help but laugh. But does this sound like a classic college move? Start the night as a hero, end it as the villain. This might be a lesson learned in the art of bar tab negotiations. Would you have paid it all? Or would you have pulled the same move as Jackson?
It was in front of the whole table, and he partook in the drinks from the bottle service. So I could have said, hey, I'd like to get a bottle service, you know, bottle of vodka. And he could have just said, no, I'm not paying for that. He had the opportunity to do that, and he didn't.
Did you have an opportunity to say, wait, hold it, that's not what I was gonna cover?
In my recollection, Your Honor, after having multiple drinks, all of us doing the same, in a loud club, all I knew is that drinks came to the table. I was not aware that it was fully bottle service, nor was I aware how much it would cost.
Gotcha.
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
We were all a little tipsy, so not the best balance. I stumbled in front of him and grabbed onto him to retain my balance, which then he shoved me out the way and backhanded me in the face.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Jackson Williams, who is suing Bryce Tigman for personal injury.
All right, so now something happens that causes a confrontation, and according to your complaint, you were injured. So how do we get from celebrating Jeremy's birthday, everybody's in the club, everybody, I'm hoping, is having a good time, to the fact now that you're in my courtroom saying that you were injured? What happened?
Well, Your Honor, we were having a good time.
So far, it's clear that Jackson has a temper. But did he really start this fight? It's like we got two conflicting narratives here. Evan says Jackson was aggressive, but Jackson denies it. Now, we're getting into some hearsay territory. But here's the kicker. Jackson is redefining self-defense, as he claims he was just protecting himself. Who do you trust more in this case? Jackson's side, or the witness who knows him too well?
Until after the waitress came and I paid for my share and sent the rest to Mr. Tigman, I noticed he came to confront me off to the dance floor, very hostilely, in my opinion, Your Honor. Came right up in my face. It was a crowded dance floor, and we were all a little tipsy, so not the best balance. I stumbled in front of him and grabbed onto him to retain my balance, which then he shoved me out the way and backhanded me in the face, striking me with his class ring, which caused this gigantic gash, which is now a scar on my face.
Oh my goodness. So you were here as a witness. Did you see all of this happening?
I did, Your Honor.
If you please stand and join me. State your name for the record.
Evan Brisky.
And so what happened?
So I was on the dance floor. I was having a good time. I was talking to some girls. And then I just heard this ruckus, these two arguing over bottle service, something like that.
Right.
And then I saw Mr. Williams here shove Tigman. I didn't see him fall or stumble. I saw him aggressively shove Tigman.
Your Honor, I would like to say for the record that Mr. Brisky is Mr. Tigman's fraternity big brother and is biased.
Okay, Your Honor, we are all brothers. Yes, he was my big, but we all knew each other. He knew me, he knew you, he knew that you... The brothers call you Hothead Jackson for a reason, Jackson.
Oh,
That's his name, Your Honor.
is that your nickname?
To some, Your Honor, it
And
is
why is
slanderous.
that? And why is that his nickname? I mean,
Because
both
he's
of
known-
you are nodding your head, going, "Yes, that's what they call
He's
it."
known for starting fights. The witness here can actually probably give a story about when we were all at a party together, and a man made a pass at his girlfriend, and what did he do?
Wait a minute. Oh, this is really getting complicated. All right, so Evan, what happened?
Well, he physically assaulted that man, but that was a different scenario.
Well, tell me about that scenario.
Well, so the man was hitting on his girlfriend.
Okay, so Bryce is claiming he's being blamed for everything. The bar tab, the slap, and now the scar. But wait for it. He's calling Jackson out for being the real troublemaker. Does anyone else feel like this could have been avoided if Jackson just had a clearer head? This situation is turning into a mess of emotions, legal drama, and one big misunderstanding. What's your take? Who started this mess?
Some man was hitting on Jackson's girlfriend, and what happened?
Well, Jackson didn't like that very much, but instead of talking to him, trying to explain the situation, he resulted in punching him, not even talking to him.
You know, the interesting thing is before that fight started, he started by shoving the guy, same as how he shoved me in the club.
Your Honor,
It was the
I have
same.
no
it's a
recollection
pattern
of
of
this, Your
behavior
Honor.
with him.
This is hearsay, Your Honor. In no way do they have any evidence that I shoved anybody at this time. You're just saying that so that it looks like I would start another fight.
Your Honor, I was sober that night, and I witnessed Mr. Williams shoving Mr. Tigman in an aggressive manner.
I don't know what kind of law TV you've been watching trying to tell me it's hearsay. I mean, he says that he was a witness and that he saw you do that. What happened that night? Not that that's particularly relevant here, but do you have a pattern of this? Come on, Jackson, what's going on with you?
Your Honor, I
For
would...
someone who stood here in my courtroom and began by saying, "I'm very much an introvert." That's what you said. That's what you said to me.
I did say that, Your Honor. I would not consider myself to be a hostile person.
Okay.
Yes, I can be defensive, and yes, I sometimes get a little excited, but even if sometimes that results in me being a little bit more against people being in my space, I don't feel that a brother of mine should take me stumbling onto him and slap me across the face as a result.
Tell me about your injuries.
Well, Your Honor, I sustained a large wound to my cheek.
Now we're at the critical point where Judge Hatchett is laying down the law. The medical bills? Not covered. The bar tab? No luck. And guess what? Jackson's damaging actions aren't helping him either. Sure, he might have been an introvert, but he's clearly not a passive bystander in this story. Who's to blame here? Will Jackson get his day in court, or is he walking away empty-handed?
Resulting in the scar as you see now.
I do see the scar.
I was bleeding profusely, and as a result, the club called an ambulance to take me to the hospital after the security had thrown us out due to the fight. I was charged with a bill for $2,100 for an ambulance, $350 for sutures, and $712 for anesthesia, the bill of which I sent to Mr. Tigman to cover as he was the perpetrator.
You
big
didn't have
words,
insurance?
perpetrator.
Did you have insurance?
At this point, Your Honor, I did not. I have recently started a new job, and my
job.
insurance had not kicked in yet, so this was
Yeah.
all out of my own pocket.
Did you all talk about this?
His new job, Your Honor?
No, about the bill, the medical bill. Did you all talk about this?
In the text message the bailiff gave to you, the next message, it's him asking me to cover the bill, which My response was something along the lines of, "Are you crazy? I'm not covering that. You attacked me. That was self-defense. This is Arizona. This is a stand your ground state. I was in fear of my life from imminent danger."
Your Honor, fear
They
from your
have
life
all
and your
been
friends?
watching a lot of TV drama, legal TV drama. I'm standing my ground. I fear for my life. This is self-defense.
Coming up,
He wanted to show how much of a big baller he was because this new job that he got, it's paying him a lot of money, so I knew he could afford it. And I felt like it was fair after all of the times that I'd taken him out for drinks when he was in college and he couldn't afford it.
you're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Jackson Williams, who is suing Bryce Tigman for personal injury.
In the end, it looks like Jackson might lose this case. The $3,500 injury claim? Denied. The countersuit? Dismissed. And now it's down to the bigger question. Can fraternity brothers really turn their back on each other this easily? Emotions are running high, and the legal stakes are even higher. Who do you think should have been held responsible? Let us know in the comments.
Actually, that is really what the law says. In all seriousness, that is exactly what the law says, that you legally can defend yourself. Has to be reasonable, but you can defend yourself. And in this situation, you're absolutely right as you talk about what the law says in this situation. Let's go back and talk about this bar service. Was there just some maybe responsibility that you all could have talked about this before the special bar service was ordered in this situation? Could you have not talked to Jackson and said, hey man, you know, I want to order this special bar service that's going to add another $400 or so to, I mean, you know, the guy's just got out of college. You all are just out of college. He's just got to start this new job. Come on now.
Well,
And we're talking about almost a $700 bar tab. And I know he's trying to be a big baller and he wants to, you know, say, I'm going to pick it up. But is it reasonable to think that he would then want to take on another $400?
Well, Your Honor, I would say that that night, he wanted to show how much of a big baller he was because this new job that he got, it's paying him a lot of money. So I knew he could afford it. And I felt like it was fair after all of the times that I'd taken him out for drinks when he was in college and he couldn't afford it. And yeah, you do bring up a good point about needing to have that conversation first. But I still ordered the drinks in front of him. I still gave him plenty of opportunity to say no. I looked him in the eyes as I ordered it.
Coming up,
It still was on his tab that he opened. At the end of the day, it's still his responsibility because he said he'd pay for it. Now, am I a bad friend for making him pay for a little extra? Maybe.
you're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Jackson Williams, who is suing Bryce Tigman for personal injury.
Y'all were all drinking. There wasn't a whole lot of looking in the eye. And I doubt that there was a whole lot of conversation about it. You probably said, oh yeah, hey, let's bring another round. Lovely person is serving this. Hey, I want a bar service. Come on, I know how this works. I do know how this works. I mean, not that I have been in the Wildcat specifically.
Okay.
I want to be clear about that. You know, all disclaimers, but I do know how this works. So you're sitting there, everybody's been drinking, everybody's having a good time. You go, hey. Right? Go. Mm-hmm. You know how it happened?
That's the snap.
I know. I'm telling you, I know how this works. Hey. Let's get the bar service over here. And I'm not so convinced that there was all this conversation going on. Come on.
But wouldn't it be his responsibility to say no, Your Honor?
Wouldn't it be your responsibility not to have ordered it on his tab without being real clear that you're going to do that?
So maybe I was not the greatest friend in doing that, but it still was on his tab that he opened. At the end of the day, it's still his responsibility because he said he'd pay for it. Now, am I a bad friend for making him pay for a little extra? Maybe. but it's still the money is still on him.
Am I going to award him the $3,500? No, because I think you make a good point. You've got a witness here. I don't think it was a stumble. I think he was aggressive, and I think that you had the right to defend yourself, right? However, having said that, this man with a new job, probably hot-headed, overreacted in the club that night, shouldn't have done what he did. But also, you know, I think that in this situation, you could have been more explicit about the bar service.
Judge Hatchett's verdict when we return. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
So, let me tell you, I'm gonna rule on this case. I'm going to dismiss your countersuit for the $300. You're gonna have to eat that, right? Because I think that as you all keep saying to me that you're fraternity brothers. You're the big brother in the fraternity. What do you have to say about this? Because I've got other cases I've got to do. Come on, what do you have to say?
I think if Mr. Williams can learn to control his anger, we can all move past this.
And I'm wanting to know what it will take to try to fix this.
An apology would be nice, Your Honor. I do have to bear the scar for the rest of my life.
But now you started this.
Still, Your Honor, I feel that the force was more than necessary for the incident.
And
at
it may
hand.
have been. It may have been. But I also think that you started it. You were the aggressor. He was defending himself, and legally, that's why I'm not awarding the $3,500. Are we clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, there's nothing further. We'll stand adjourned.
Judge Hatchett has ruled both claims.
RAPA plus strong CTA, there you have it. Another intense case full of legal drama, fraternity betrayal, and unpredictable emotions. But a verdict is in and both claims are denied. If you enjoyed the breakdown and want to see more jaw-dropping moments like this, make sure to hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more epic courtroom stories. Stay tuned to the next big case, and remember, it's not over until the gavel falls.